And welcome back, everyone. We've got another fantastic program for you this evening. We are live and direct from a remote location deep in the desert in California. First-time listeners out there, thanks for being here. We've been waiting for you. Long-time listeners out there, much respect to you. And of course, those of you that are here in the chat room right now in real time, thanks for being here. This is going to be a good one. Joining me in a moment is Ole Dammegård. He is an author and an international speaker, former journalist and musician, coach, artist, inventor, and investigator who has dedicated the last 40 years to researching many of the global conspiracies. Give him a warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Ole Dammegård. An amazing guest indeed. And, I've been thinking a lot about Ole for a while here. I was like wondering when the hell is he going to be here? I'm like, where is Ole? And I'm glad he's here. And let's bring him right on in. Let's not take up too much more time here. Ole, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I can't believe you're back.
Why is that so hard to believe?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm just excited to have you back on the program. Many people love it when you're on here. My audience just adores you.
Well, thank you. I blush here.
And Ole, how are you?
I'm good. I'm tired, but good. I think 2022 was I think for most of it, it was like a real squeezing where it felt like me for me like we were almost like being pushed through a birth canal where both it was a process of dying but also being reborn, and where everything unhealed was being exposed coming up to the surface, so that we almost at least I almost on a daily basis had to deal with like a new chapter of things that I thought I healed and put behind me, and then boom, here it was again.
Oh,
So I
yes.
thought 2022 was quite exhausting, and then so I was so looking forward to New Year's Eve, and then after New Year's Eve, it's sort of been like instead of breathing out for like forever and ever, suddenly like this fresh air started coming in again. So I'm good.
Yes, you're like me who was just glad that the year was finally over, but here in 2023, we have already started off with a bang.
What do you mean
Well, we've
with a
got
bang?
well, we've got civil unrest occurring all over the place. We've got missing children in the UK. We've got mass shootings that I'm pretty
Mm.
sure we'll probably talk about here in a moment. And of course, as you may or may not know, Oli, I like taking calls from listeners, especially when it's an episode like this. So I hope you're down or willing to take phone calls, Oli.
I would love it. Go for it.
Right. Nice. Well, if anyone wants to step up to the plate and ask Oli anything, please feel free to call in. That number is 424 666 2425. Don't be scared now. It's just a number. We are not here to do that here tonight. And by the way, Oli, I was just listening to the song Wake Up, your song with Mo Anton, by the way.
Mm.
We need to all wake up, Oli, but as I've told you in the past, we are only a small demographic out here that have awakened a long time ago, but we have to reach those out there who have not yet woken up.
I tell you, Michael, if you haven't noticed yet, when you try to fix someone else, it never works. If you try to persuade someone else, never works. The only one you can really change is you, and the only one I can change is me. And then hopefully by us changing and healing ourselves from the inside, and getting ourselves sort of brave enough to stand up for what we believe is true and right, then changes around us also occurs. So I never try to persuade anyone. I never try to push my opinions on anyone, but I know I'm reaching millions. So I think that's the way to do it. You only focus on how you deal with it and try to deal with whatever challenges, whatever obstacle is put in your way. I mean, some of them call the New World Order these type of minor bumps in the road, and then deal with them in the best possible way, live by example, and then hopefully that will affect other people as well.
Amazing. And in case anyone doesn't know who you are, Oli, I thought we can start off with just going over your background and some of your history here before we begin.
Well, my meat suit was born many moons ago, and around 1980, I was working as a young journalist, and I started becoming aware of that something very strange was going on in the world. And that was also the I know the exact point where I sort of that was the sort of the wakey call for me. It was the first time ever that I saw the so-called Zapruder film, the this short footage of the assassination of JFK. And what really got to me was like, it takes about 18 seconds to figure out something is absolutely wrong here because of the impact to Kennedy's head, where he was thrown back and to the left. I mean, that's just plain Farmer Brown logic. The shooter must have been standing somewhere in front and to the right, at least one of the shooters. So what really got to me was like, how could heavyweight journalists like Dan Rather and all kinds of really heavyweights and Pulitzer Prize winning journalists or whatever, all of them were backing a story saying the guy was behind him and up in a building, which was absolutely not true. I mean, that took me about 18 seconds to figure out. And then it's taken me like 50 odd years almost to try and see, okay, so what actually did happen? And so I've
Yeah.
been no, so over the years, I've focused a lot on the JFK assassinations. I've been I've been the speaker, one of the speakers in Dallas 3 times at the JFK conference. I'm considered somewhat of an expert, world-leading expert among a handful others. The Robert Kennedy assassination, Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, all of these things I did not know are actually connected. And also it took me into the world of the alleged assassination of the Swedish Prime Minister, Olof Palme, who is said to have been gunned down in the city of Stockholm in 1986. And without knowing it, this took me down a rabbit hole that this was way before the internet, way before JFK movie, all of these type of things. And I had absolutely no idea what I was getting myself into. But over the years, I don't know what it is, but I've had this calling this is my path, this is my dharma. And I tell you, for many, many years, absolute zero individuals were interested. It was just like, can somebody please shut this one up? Because it's just boring to listen to. And why even bother about people who died so long ago? But I had this calling and I was just following it, and it got me into this world of conspiracies, a very, very dark area where that also ended up with me having 2 friends murdered around me. And I had a visit also when I was getting too close to the truth around the Swedish assassination. And so my sweetheart and I, we left Sweden the year 2000, and we took her 2 kids and the 2 of us, and we started a completely new life in Spain. So we started from scratch, no money, no job, no language, no nothing. And then we built up a life there, 20 years, while I was really continuing to do my utmost in trying to find out what was actually going down. Where the next big stepping stone after JFK, when you look at this power structure, how they've taken over step by step, the next big corner they turned, the very same power structure, was 9/11. And then the ultimate here lately is the COVID operation. These are the same forces in the background, if you ask me, taking more and more, pushing us into a corner where they want absolute and utter control of all aspects of life. So yeah, and then 2.5 years ago, we came to a point where there was this lockdown in Spain. We lived in Spain at the time, and Spain was like a frontline country. It was Italy, then Spain, Portugal, Greece. These are always the countries that are being hit first. And so I had the so-called privilege of experience lockdown firsthand. For a couple of months we were locked in, and I mean, at that point, nobody knew where the world was going. It was,
Right.
we had no idea.
Right.
And then
It was a scary time.
very scary. And we were locked in for for 2 months straight. And so Kim came up with this, my sweetheart Kim came up with this great idea that we should do like a video diary. So if you go to my website, lightonconspiracies.com, that's plural, lightonconspiracies.com, there's Kim's and Ola's sofa talks. And it's like every single day during lockdown for about 150 days or something like that. We're doing like a 15-20 minute diary of what was going down, because like I said, we had absolutely no idea where this was heading. There were roadblocks outside, there were military, there were sometimes helicopters and patrol boats outside, and we just didn't know where this was heading. And at the same time, I kept doing interviews all the time, all over the world. I've done more than 1,100. I've been
Right.
interviewed more than 1,100 interviews. But at that time, we were in an apartment building, and I had like ropes hanging down on the side of the building just in case they were going to kick my door in or whatever. So it ended up with us escaping number the second time we did it. So a little more than 2 years ago, we managed to get out of Spain, and now since then we've been living on Bali, and I feel extremely
Wow.
blessed to be here.
That is wild, Oli. I had no idea you had to relocate again.
Yeah, we did.
Oof. That must have been a headache for you.
I mean, I am extremely grateful to be here. It's an incredible place to be. It's the island of the gods, and it's like they say, Mother Bali will welcome you or spit you out, depending on how you treat her. And so many people are being spit out. They go through absolute very hard times if they're not in gratitude. But if you treat her with respect and love and gratitude, she will embrace you. And she will also put you through some fire baptism things, where you just have
Right.
to go through absolute fire, which we've done. And yeah, so it's an amazing place to be. Incredible expat community here, very creative, very open-minded, beautiful individuals from all over the world. So I'm very, very grateful to be here.
And Oli, would you ever consider moving to America?
Not in this lifetime.
Not in this lifetime.
Nope.
Oh my, I still believe this is the greatest country on this island called Earth. I love this country, but I have great disdain for corporate America and government corruption. The last 3 years, my government went after people in an unconstitutional way. They are out of control. So, I don't exactly blame you for not wanting to come up here and do that.
I tell you, nature-wise, I absolutely love the US. And also, I used to be a super geek when it came to the historical Wild West. So I'm also adopted by the Apache Nation, and the Sioux tribe and the Apache Nation have been very close to me. So in that respect,
Yeah.
but then what has the way that the US have taken over, and that this power structure that has been hiding behind countries like the US, who have absolute raped and plundered the world, is not a favorite type of structure that I like. And so it's like, I think that you, the American people, are the most duped individuals that I come across, because you have been presented this, that you are the nation of the free and the, what do you call it, the free and the brave and all of this, and you are the symbol of democracy, and you are all of these things, and thank you so much for your service. And then when you look at the result in the other end, in the receiving end, which is the rest of the world, you see, oh my God, what have these forces done with all of these unjust wars? I mean,
Yeah.
I have this
Absolutely.
I'm not, it's nothing personal, Michael, but I think that the American population need to shake up and be shaken and wake up to the fact of what is actually has been going on. And Chip Tatum, a friend of mine who's a CIA whistleblower, who is the head assassin for George Bush Sr. and a pilot for all the presidents from Nixon up to George Bush Sr., who's been dedicating his life to helping veterans and so on. I mean, he is so devoted. He also sees the U.S. military as the biggest terror tool in the world. And I mean, that this is also, I'm not saying the individual soldiers, I mean, so many people are signing up to do the right thing, to liberate for democracy and freedom. I totally see that. Beautiful individuals, but then the forces are hijacked and are part of carrying out absolute horror in the world. So I say, bring them back home. All your boys and girls in uniform, bring them back home. And that goes for NATO as well. They can. That is another terror tool where the New World Order are trying to join these forces. So you got the United Nations forces, you got NATO, and you got the U.S. military, which they're trying to force and merge into one big, one world army, there to control us, not to protect us. So I'm many times I'm trying to speak directly to people in uniform to make them become aware of what's actually going on, because they've been hijacked.
Well, I don't disagree with you one bit, Oli, at all. And I'm not offended. I believe that's what a lot of soldiers should come to the realization, that they're doing the biddings for, corporate America and politicians that want them to basically give up all their rights and just go and get killed out there for an unjust war. And, I have a friend who is long gone now. He died in the Iraq War. And I think he died for a useless cause, for a pointless war, doing the bidding for some politician out there.
Here. That is it. I mean, if you look at both the Iraq wars and Afghanistan wars, and all of it is based on 9/11, which is an absolute inside job backed by Israel and Saudi, but absolute inside job where you have the exact same players as behind also many of the top political assassinations. And so this war of terror, not on terror, because there's this invisible enemy that you have no idea. It's a noun, actually. The war, it's actually war of terror. That one and all of the wars that has followed, Syria, Afghanistan, both the Iraq wars, Libya, all of these ones are all based on 100% bullshit on steroids. So all of these wars where soldiers have been sent in the name of democracy and all of these freedom and liberation, whatever they have been duped into believing, has had a completely different agenda behind the curtains. And this is the thing that really gets to me. All of these individuals that go out there with good intentions and then get absolutely messed up or killed or blown arms and heads and legs off, and then they come home, and then their commander, the chief of commander that should be loyal to them, are giving them the finger, and then they end up in diapers in some veteran, like where institution or hospital where they're just buried and never to be seen again. Or they commit suicide because they've been forced to do absolute atrocities. I mean, the number of suicides among the U.S. military is staggering, staggering. And then where is the loyalty? The ones that push them into the war, where is the loyalty? There's no loyalty whatsoever. They're just like, no, trash, and throw them out in the street, homeless, whatever. And then you get the whole propaganda machine wherever somebody that has not been blown to pieces have a uniform on, and everybody's thank you for your service. Indirectly, they're saying thank you so much for going out in the world. Corporate interest, greed, and psychos that are out there for their sake. You're the tool, killing, slaughtering, raping, plundering, in their, not even in your own interest or greed, but in their greed. And then as soon as you've done that, you messed yourself up, you are out. You're just an empty uniform, trash. Listen, Michael, I was not prepared to speak hard like this. It's not my intention.
No
but
worries.
It is my intention to please people out there in uniform. Especially minorities and people that are not so wealthy are the ones that are being pulled into this and turned into cannon fodder. They're useless eaters in uniform and cannon fodder. It's like, it's so not right.
Well,
it's just not right.
They're being taken advantage of, no doubt. And you see what's going on over there in Russia as well. They're sending lots of drug addicts out there to war too.
What is different?
Yeah, what is different? You're right. These are individuals that really have no hope for the future whatsoever. Most of them probably are drug addicts or alcoholics, whatever's going on with them. They come from lower income housing and they're sent out there to war.
It's standard procedure. You've seen dictators, it doesn't matter in what different time era, it's the same thing. And they're often very young or uneducated or poor, so they don't really have a choice. And then people are being, but if you do that, you will get a scholarship for college. Or like in the Iran-Iraq war, the dead, if a soldier died in the war, the family was rewarded a fridge or something like that. So this young individual died for a fridge. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. But they lure people in, like there's a reason why they bring them in young. I mean, they're physically really at a peak, but also their mind is not developed so that they cannot stand up against this absolute mind-blowing brainwashing. Brainwashing is actually a completely wrong word. Brainwashing is what we need. We need to wash these brains, give them a really good cleanse, get all of the crap out. And so we can start thinking pure thoughts and the way it was supposed to be. but it's brain controlling, the mind controlling aspect of all of this thing, turning these young individuals, numbing them down, and just making them, giving them medals for being assassins, murderers, tools of death, and then they shoot their sniper shooting like 1,600 people. He's applauded. Oh, it's the most incredible sniper ever. Then he goes home and he's messed up for life, and he suddenly he explodes and maybe killed 2 people in a bar. Suddenly he's a mass murderer or a monster. What happened? We were giving him medals here, and suddenly we're putting him behind bars forever.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing. It's like poor individuals that are getting into this machine of horror, I tell you.
It really is. It's almost like those who go to prison for a long time, they're institutionalized, and once they come back out in the real world, they have a very hard time adjusting. And I've talked to many veterans out there who've done years of service out there and actually have been on the field and killed people and done all these sort of things. And when they come back, they turn into alcoholics and drug addicts, to be honest. I hate to say it that way, but not all the time, but in most cases, that's what goes on. And they become suicidal. They're having all these issues with their wives and kids. It's a mess.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And the reason why they are feeling so bad and so depressed is because they've done horrible stuff. They have been said, do that. It's an order. Shoot that. Do whatever. Kick that in. And then the more you start finding out that there wasn't even a reason for the war, it's like, what? All of it based on that. It's like horrible. And these people that have soiled their souls, they have to live with it. These super cowards that are just signing the orders, like behind the Vietnam War,
Right.
Johnson, these type of super, I don't know what to call them. They've never done the job themselves. They have like assassins, like Johnson had 8 people taken out, including his alcoholic sister. It's always like they don't do it. They're hiding behind the scenes and never, sometimes not even signing the papers. They're taking the credit if it goes well. If it doesn't, they're sort of like no. So this is also why these things, we have the power to stop them. If we don't do it, if we just say thank you so much for that order, but no, I'm not doing it. Thank you so much for trying to force me to do that, or whatever it is. Thank you, I'm not doing it. The no, if our no, we don't have to go violent. If we just say no, thank you so much for offering me this horrible whatever it is, I'm not doing it. Take the jab, I'm not doing it. Do that, I'm not doing it. Police as well, you have to do this and this. Thank you so much. My heart says differently. No, I'm not doing it. If we say no, we don't have to do anything else. Just stand up in our no, and then that will also empower our yes instead of our answers to whatever. It's like like a very blurry version of some kind of personal opinion or decision. If we start with a no and just say, I am following my heart, it doesn't matter what you say. I know it's not right. I'm just not doing it. These tax people, whatever, in so many different areas, bankers on a lower level that are ruining people's lives. And yeah, but it's my job. It's my bollocks. That's what it is. Stand up, ask your heart. What is this really right that I'm, what do you call it, throwing these people out of their house because they've been lured into a financial ambush to sign up for all of these, for all of these mortgages and stuff like that, and now they're ruined, and we take the house and they still have to pay. And even though we're taking the house, they still have to pay this debt. I mean, it's bizarre when you start looking at it, and we just have to say, thank you so much. Absolutely no way am I gonna do this.
Well, I don't blame you for feeling that way, Oli. It's quite, it's such a strange thing, once you start breaking it down and seeing that some of these people, they willingly go, and because they want to do the right thing, but they always come back, if they live, that is, they always come back and have so many regrets. And there's so many individuals I know that are listeners of the show. They are veterans, And, I've had these discussions with them, and 9 out of 10 times they definitely regret signing up. And, all of them, they have varying different circumstances why they went. Some wanted better financial situation for themselves and their families. Some just willingly went. But again, they all come back with so much regret, and they have heavy hearts.
Yep. Heavy hearts, soiled souls. I mean, it's awful what many of these people have been forced to do. And then once they start seeing that what is going on here, it doesn't make any sense. The Vietnam War could have been stopped so many times. Then you speak to generals and people and also soldiers that were sort of like, we could have taken that last whatever hill or stand or whatever, and that would have ended the conflict. No, instead they were being pulled back so that the conflict would continue, so that Bell helicopters and all of these big military industrial complex producers could keep the war going. At the same time, so much of the drug trading was one of the major reasons for the whole Vietnam War, was the drug trade from the Golden Triangle through Vietnam, through the whole military system, with the planes coming in and out, even bodies being cut open and then stuffed with drugs on the inside, taken home in coffins. The whole thing, a drug smuggle operation, and then to destroy the American society. That was the reason. But people were sent out there and killed people, burned villages and napalmed children and whatever, in the name of drugs, of drug smuggling kingpins that couldn't care less. And that was just the Vietnam War. There's so many of these wars that are absolute staged things that are being told, oh, it's the communists, we have to stop the communists. You look underneath it, no, it has nothing to do with that. It's big business, ice cold business, and you in the US, I come back here with a pointing finger, sorry about that, but
That's all right.
got what is also called the prison industrial complex. In the 90s and onwards, they started building out this privately owned massive monster of a prison system with these corrupt presidents and other people who signed different agreements like the three-strike law and these type of things that could put people away forever. And under the disguise of, oh, it's so good, society will be so much safer. It had nothing to do with that. It's a matter, just like if you have a hotel and you have no clients, that's a bit of a problem. If you own a hotel and you can make sure that you've got clients for the next 30 years that will stay there for the next 30 years, and just bring it on in the thousands, that is big business for you. So
Absolutely.
when you see the ownership of these prisons, and also who is paying the bill, it's all the time the taxpayers, and they go straight into private pockets, the same pockets that are behind the military industrial complex and so many other, also the whole drug syndicates and so on, same individuals. So they set it up. So from the 90s, also with the whole gangster rap music thing, where there were secret meetings in Los Angeles where they were saying, this is the situation. We want to glorify the whole crime scene, get minorities into the whole gangster rap and drugs and the war, the gang wars, and all of that, boost it. At the same time, pump guns in, cut down the financial support to the police and so on, so that we have a massive conflict. And while we do that, the minorities will kill themselves, and then also anyone that survives, we're going to push them in for the next 3,000 years in our prison, where the taxpayers are paying for it. Same individuals in the background, just making a bundle, a killing actually.
It's a very sad and unfortunate sort of situation that we find ourselves in today. And I don't think anything's going to change anytime soon. We have this conflict with the Ukraine and Russia going on right now. And it seems like our country, my country, is really pushing for war. And as you know, Oli, we are kind of in a depression right now, even though they haven't really officially said it yet. But when things are this bad financially, there's always a way to get us out, and that's through war, because war means profit.
There's nothing new under the sun. That's why I'm
Right.
laughing here, because it's
Yeah.
like it is. When you look at the way these things are designed, like the whole COVID operation to
Yeah.
break the backbone of the US and many other countries, like just break it down so that we're down on our knees, and then push the nations one by one, especially NATO nations, into this very tricky situation where now the gas prices are going up, the food prices, the egg prices, the fuel prices, the electricity. All of that is not by coincidence. It's
Right.
war. It's an invisible war on humanity.
And where
And
you're at, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but where you're at, Oli, is that what's going on in your country right now? Are you seeing these prices going up with food and everything else?
not so much here, but yeah,
Okay.
in all other countries, NATO countries especially, it's not a coincidence. This is by design, and it goes under the name of Operation Cold, or it's going to be a cold winter. This they've been planning for a long time to because when you see how did this happen, how are the oil prices, the electricity price, the fuel prices, the food, what is happening? You got like hundreds of food industries or factories being burned. What is that? Is that natural? No, it's sabotage. They're being burned to the ground. What does that make? It creates problems with the food distribution. Then you got the whole distribution net with evergreen ships that are blocking the Suez Canal. All of these ships around the, the harbors in the US West Coast, East Coast, where the harbors are just have been locked down during COVID also. Just stop, stop, stop. Um the whole thing to break down the system. Evergreen, by the way, that this big ship that just happened to park in a slightly strange way in the Suez Canal, that's Evergreen. That is a CIA company. Evergreen is CIA, has always been, and I have that from CIA operatives like Chip Tatum. Evergreen is theirs. So is this a coincidence? I don't think so. Then you have multinational companies where these days they're controlling like the electricity. There's a Swedish family called Wallenberg, which is, I tell you, a major part of the deep state that nobody has heard of. Wallenberg, on incredible power, but behind the scenes. Their motto is esse non vedere, rule without visibility. And that's exactly what they're doing, looking really cute in the background and peaceful and Swedish, all of this thing in the background. Oh my God. They are controlling such incredible networks all over the world, including the telecommunication system through Ericsson, which is their creation, their company. They got Investor. They also got ABB, which is controlling the electricity in more than 180 countries. You got SKF with the wheel. What is that called? Doesn't matter. But yeah. Anyway, that family. Ooh. And when you look at nowadays, where there's like two or three companies, multinational giants, monsters like BlackRock and Vanguard, State
Right.
Street, who are behind them? Nowadays, it's no longer families, like the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds. You don't see them like that. They're hiding behind these multinational corporation facade shop windows. And I mean, find out who's behind BlackRock, who's behind Vanguard. You will find the exact same beast, and that's where the the heart of this Hydra is, I think.
And Oli, do you think anything positive will happen in the year 2023?
God, I'm super positive. I've always been positive. Uh, Sometimes tired, but absolutely optimistic. And I feel that what we're seeing is it. Do you know, like up to 2019, at the end of the fall of 2019, I really thought that this dark empire was falling apart, and that we were making the final step to global liberation and beautiful harmony, that whole thing. And then boom, in they moved with the final card they had up their sleeve, Operation COVID.
Right.
I did not see that coming at all. Oh my God. But then I was indirectly part of stopping the violent part of that operation. There was planned 39 coordinated attacks on Western Europe in combination at the exact same date that they released this alleged virus in Wuhan. It was meant to go down on October 23 and 24 on 2019. Instead, all of the violent part was closed down. They couldn't pull it off when it was exposed big time. And instead, they had this fluffy, pink and fluffy version called COVID that came out really weird, because the whole other part of this planned operation was not there. So they really had to sneak COVID in like a fart in the sunset, without us really noticing. No real substance, just this strange smell. And suddenly, boom, we had this COVID operation in place.
Yeah, we got these lockdowns.
Sorry?
I was just saying, we had all these lockdowns going on. People were losing their minds, losing their jobs. It was a rather scary time. And I can't believe it's been 3 years now. And as I said, my government went after people in an unconstitutional way. And it's been, the censorship rather, was beyond belief. And all these things were brought to life thanks to Elon Musk, who revealed many things from Twitter and Facebook. But even Elon Musk is a highly questionable character, Oli.
Yeah. It's like he's warning about all of the things he stands for. So it's like, who are you? I don't trust these individuals at all. 0, 0, and 0. And then free speech, bring them. They keep moving the platform, so they demonize each other, and then they say, but liberation is over here. Here's where you're free. The symbol of Twitter is a bluebird. Do you know what Operation Bluebird is? It's MK Ultra.
Right, yeah, I was going to say, is it that MK Ultra?
Yeah, and this is the way they do it, and they create these platforms, like, oh, Telegram, that's the place to be. No, I prefer cybersecurity. I will stay on Signal. I will use Proton Mail, and I will be safe.
Yeah.
It's so not. It's so not. Like the Telegram, and by the way, the founders of these are being invited on a regular basis to the Bilderberg meeting or to Davos in Switzerland with the World Economic Forum. I mean, these type of individuals, you see, oh my God, you're there? What are you doing there? You are supposed to be the opposition. Nope, they're there. And Telegram, for instance, do you know, the first time I've ever heard of that was at the Charlie Hebdo alleged attack in Paris 2015. And they were pumping in media that these alleged terrorists were using a whole new platform called Telegram that was so encrypted that even terrorists would use it. I mean, can you hear it's like a jingle. It's only the music missing. So encrypted that even terrorists would trust it. So it will be good enough for you. And they had the image of the logo for this, all of that in the articles on an international basis. What is that? It's a psychological operation. Boom, in you go. People trust it. You gather them like on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of these things. Who created them? Why are they for free? YouTube, what do you think all of these servers cost? I mean, just the cost of having a platform like that is immense. Would they do it because they're so kind? No.
Oh, of course not. Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine that? It's because they have huge hearts. That's why. That's why it's free.
I know, Michael. They're so caring. It's incredible.
Yeah, so big tech is the enemy, no doubt. And it's been that way for a while now. Big tech has kind of taken over America. They have become bigger than government, which is scary.
We're back to the multinational corporations. And also, countries are also companies. They're registered on the registered companies, most nations, and the citizens are assets. And it's like, when you start getting into it, it's like, what Are we on the stock market? Yes, you are. Are we a company? Is Sweden a company? Is the yeah, yep. You start finding out of these things, and you see, I have been taken for a ride. I have been taken for a massive ride here. And the thing is, I think, especially you in the West, in this country called the United States of America, you think that the world is you. There is an incredible big part of the world that is outside America, where a lot of things are going on a parallel scale, where it's very important to be aware of what's going on, and where I think the population of the US have been dumbed down in incredible ways through the education system,
Right. Yeah.
where I tell you, I'm a close friend to Charlotte Isabit, she was working in the Reagan administration, and she was put as responsible for the education in the US. And she was like, why am I being put in this position? It doesn't make any sense, you know. And she came to a job, and they say, welcome so much, here's your office. And she said, thank you so much, it's so impressive. And my God, I can see the White House, it's just incredible. So please share, what are my tasks, what should I do? And they said, well, you just go and play golf and have lunch with your girlfriends or whatever. Don't worry about it. Have a nice day, and boom. And so she was sitting in her beautiful office day in and day out. And it's just like, what is going on? I'm supposed to be in a situation where I make a change for the better. And so she started looking around in her office, you know, just because she was bored. Everything was empty, except there was one file cabinet that they had forgot to empty. And in that, she started finding documents from the 50s and onwards that was planning an absolute dumbing down of the Western world through education, through how they could manipulate in uh, the numbing down or the shutting down of real information, of real education, and instead uh, pump people with useless information that would just fill their minds with things that they would, like students would fill their minds with information that was important up to the test. After the test, just get rid of it. It was just garbage, but it kept people busy. Also, through the education system, she found these documents very detailed on how they were planning to use in different ways, enforce drugs into families, both medical drugs and you know, illegal substances and so on, break up the family patterns, break up the families, all the support system, make the kids more and more closer to become property of the state. As well as in the 90s, 80s and 90s, they were planning on connecting people, hooking them up to the internet through different devices. This she found where this was being planned from the 50s and onwards, and she was like, oh my God, what is this? So she started talking to people around her, and they were saying, yeah, because this was people from the elite, sort of. Yeah, this is common knowledge. What's the big deal? But she was shocked. So what she did was she had a friend of her, a girlfriend, that they used to eat lunch. So they brought two briefcases. She bought two identical. And so she started taking documents from her office. And then when she had lunch with her girlfriend, they just swapped briefcases under the table. The girlfriend went back home. They had a photocopy machine and just started copying, boom, 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 boom. And in a few months, they had copied everything in the file cabinet. And then she wrote a book and published it. It's called The Dumbing Down of America, or The Dumbing Down of America. You can get it for free on the internet. You can find it there, where she's just describing the whole thing. And this is not only in the US, it's through the Bilderberg Group and these type of networks that they push this agenda on the Western world, just dumbing us down, dumbing us down. So it's for us to, once again, wake up and become aware and bring the knowledge, bring the power, bring the wisdom and all of these, the compassion, the forgiveness as well, back into our lives and start caring. The forces are trying to dehumanize us. Just whatever they try to push on you, do the exact opposite. Social distancing, go hug every single person you see.
That's funny.
You know, whatever. Yeah. So, and bring it back. It's all the time. Bring it back to humanity. Bring it back to your heart. Bring it back to the way it was, the way that humanity have survived for thousands of years. We just have to bring that back. and then combine it with some technology, of course, as well.
For a while there, Oli, during the whole pandemic, for a while, I didn't think it was ever going to end.
It hasn't. It hasn't. It's still on. It's just
Slightly.
they can. No, it's like when you have population control, you push and push, and then after a while you need to release it, otherwise you will have problems with uprisings, revolutions, these type of things. So they push, they release the pressure somewhere else. Look at this as a global agenda. It NATO countries and Agenda 21, or the fourth industrial revolution, that's another name, same bullshit. So they push in one area, and then they release in another, and then they release here after 2 months or so, they release over here, and they push down over there, and so this keeps moving around, and you're like, whoa, the numbers in Sweden are now going up. Yeah, the numbers in California going down. No, push, pressure, release, pressure, release, pressure, release, and then they come with new variants, or after each push and then release, they need another reason to push again. So there's a second wave of so-called viruses, and they keep coming up with these beautiful names according to the Greek alphabet. I mean, absolute bullshit. And so how to do it? So this is also why we managed to get out of Spain, because it was really shutting down, and I mean the airport was shut down, and we had curfew, and not good at all. But since I know how they do this population control, we managed to plan when will they release the pressure. It would be around 2 months from that date. And exactly at that date, they open up for a week or two. They open up the airport. We got out, boom, because we had booked a ticket right there. And so it's just a matter of becoming aware of the modus operandi. How are they doing it? How do they control us? How do they manipulate us? And then pull the curtain and take the power back.
I have already lost count of how many variants there are now. There's like 20.
No, it's you can call it bullshit 1, bullshit 2, bullshit 3, bullshit 4, bullshit 5, bullshit 6, but it will continue as long as we accept it. When we say, listen, I'm not buying this crap anymore. How many boosters do you think I need to stay healthy? And by the way, is there anything healthy in that at all? At all? It's like 0.0000000000000% that is good for you, and about 99.9999999999999% that is absolutely lethal.
It's a lot of nines.
Why would I do it? Why? And especially if you look at it, I love the logic. Okay, so we have an alleged virus here that can be of harm. So thank God for vaccines, because if I take that, I will be safe. Nope, you're not safe after one. You have to take a second one. Okay, so I take a second one. Am I safe now? No. Am I safe from other people who haven't taken the vaccine? No. What do I need to do that? Booster 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Listen, if the vaccines are so good, you should be safe. You take the vaccine. The people like myself who are unvaccinated shouldn't be a problem. Let us die in horrible pain and cramp or whatever. It's up to us. Why should you even bother? You got the shot. You're safe. No, it has to be mandatory. Why? And many countries buy like double doses of these fabricated alleged vaccines that are actually, when you look at it, I'm not saying this lightly, I'm part of a small group of world-leading experts in the medical field, like the World Doctors Alliance. I've been invited by them multiple times to their private online meetings. A soul sister of mine is Dolores Cahill, who is the head of the World Doctors Alliance and the World Freedom Alliances. And many of these, Christian Northrup, Karim Adej, whatever, these are heavyweight individuals in this area. They are the ones who have informed me of what is actually in them. And it's bad news, really, 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 really bad news. So why on earth, also, when you look at the body, this beautiful body meat suit that we are wearing is made for protection. You got different layers of protection, like firewalls, skin, you got underskin, you got all of these things. And then the really sensitive things are hidden inside of it, so that it's closed systems that are working perfectly as long as you keep the immune system boosted. What does the needle do? It bypasses all of these firewalls. And so if what is pumped into you is not good, then suddenly you have the enemy within. That is what that needle does. It looks maybe good or innocent. It bypasses. It's like a super virus that bypasses all of your firewalls in your computer, infected from the inside, and boom, also nowadays can be remotely controlled and activated from the inside of you. I don't think that sounds good.
No, not at all. And I think there might be 23 variants of COVID. That's what yeah, exactly. That's what they're claiming. So, for instance, let's just say that, Oli, let's just say that, hypothetically speaking here, me and you wanted to get vaccinated. Does that mean I have to take like 23 different variants to be protected?
Yeah,
That
at
doesn't
least.
sound like a smart or healthy thing to do.
Do you know, like if I were a car producer like Mercedes and I said I've got a completely new set of brakes, we're going to install them. And so the client said, "Oh my God, that sounds really interesting. So have you tested them?" No. Are you sure they work? Yes. How can you know if you haven't tested them? Well, trust me. Okay. So so if anything goes bad, will you pay me, sort of, will you reimburse me with? No. Can I sue you? No. Have you got any responsibility in this at all? No. So I should just trust you? Yes. So why should I install it? Because of solidarity to the pedestrians. But if the brake, wait a second. Okay, so I I reinstall these brakes. So am I fine now? Do they work? No, you have to have new brake pads. Okay, so if I do that, will they work? Am I safe in the car? No. What now? You need new brake pads, but I just put them there. Yeah, but you need the brake pads on the brake pads so that you're safe. So am I safe now? No. And what about all of the other vehicles that are driving around? What about them? Well, we install the same brakes on them as well, on their vehicles as well. So is that safe? Yes. How do you know? Have you tested it? No. But how can you know? Trust us. That is exactly the logic that is in this whole industry. And then you see people like Fauci, his track record in the HIV, that whole thing where he was deeply involved together with Dr. Robert Gallo and other people, where they were contracted to create a weapon, a bioweapon of mass destruction. That was what HIV was. Never an isolated virus, has never been seen. And the AIDS epidemic was completely created by these individuals.
Right.
Fauci has been there for like 30 years in the background doing exactly this. And then they use the so-called PCR test as the one that will show you have it or you don't. So we talked to Kerry Mullins, the guy that was given the Nobel Prize in medicine for it. I mean, you would think that he would know, and so he said in multiple interviews, no, you can't diagnose a disease at all with a PCR test. What you can do is whatever you are looking for, you can, through the PCR test, just do enough so called circles and it will amplify whatever you're looking for so that you can have a better look at it. It's not a tool for diagnostic whatsoever. And then he just happened to die just a month before the COVID operation was planned to be released.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence, yet again, Kerry Mullins. But should you trust him just because he invented it and because he was just an absolute brilliant mind that was just about to expose Fauci and then he so conveniently just died? Should you trust that? No, let's trust somebody like Fauci or Kill Bill Gates, who came out of nowhere. When you look at it, he was really in a bad situation because there was so many investigations getting at him around Microsoft, saying like, "What the hell are you up to?" And so, instead of being taken to court, they contracted a major marketing firm. I think it was a German marketing firm that turned the whole thing around from him being just about to be exposed as a super gangster. They turned it around. They created this foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and suddenly they had this whole marketing campaign making them out as these incredibly, so generous, whatever change makers in the world. When you look at where they put the money, all of the money they donate goes back into their own operations, and many of them are built on eugenics and population control, depopulation, especially in the third world countries and stuff like that, where you see that their footsteps are absolutely in blood. It's awful to say. And then Kill Bill suddenly became this expert, this medical expert in the world, this medical prophet that has no education whatsoever, that the only viruses he's ever seen are the ones he created in the whole PC world, so they can make billions there as well. How did that happen? It's a psychological operation. He's just one. Klaus Schwab is just another one. These are front figures, but the power behind them is the same. We're just being served different beautiful covers of different areas. Oh, this is the person. This is no. There's another one in the background pulling the strings, and that's where we should put our focus, not on these front figures that are just okay. They're players, but only on a certain level, making a fortune, whatever. They are not the main problem. It's behind them and behind them.
I think Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci deserve to be behind bars for crimes against humanity.
Behind bars, if you look at, especially in the US, I mean, you execute people because they kill other people, like a serial killer. Oh, he killed 8. Okay, what do you call a person who is being behind the death of millions? Is that a serial killer or a trillion killer? I don't even know what to call these
It's just a
people. I mean,
politician, in other words.
I mean, we're looking at some absolute serious criminals on the highest level of the lowest level of human qualities and the highest level of criminals, like Soros. You got Gates. You got Kissinger, not to say Kissinger. You got Bush Senior. All of these, they are monsters. They look nice, maybe except for Henry Kissinger, but Soros as well, if I forgot him. But I mean, when you look at the actions of these individuals and you really start understanding what's going on, it's like, oh my God, what a deception. How can they pull it off? How can we not see what's actually going on? And just because they have money, is that really something that should stop us from saying, listen, this is so not okay. I will now confront you. I'll put the light right at you and expose what you're up to.
Right,
But
and there was a time when most American people didn't like the ultra rich, and now they are worshipped. I don't exactly know how that happened, but that's where we are here in America, to be honest.
it's a psychological operation, as it's always the way how to turn it around. Bad boys, what do? It's like there's this saying that traitors thrive when heroes hang. Traitors thrive when heroes hang. The real heroes are very often being painted out as some horrible person. And then that person, the people that take over and many times backstab them to death or assassinate them, whatever, they then, with the fortunes that they bring in through these acts of violence, horrible crimes, they start erecting like statues of themselves. They name airports after themselves, like the Dulles Airport. I mean, look at Alan Dulles. My God, the George Bush Airport. What is going on? You got one of the people that were part of the JFK assassination. He's got a statue in Miami. It's like, what is going on? What is going on? And then on the graves of their victims, they even put their Freemasonic symbols, their eternal flame or an obelisk or a pyramid. It's it's so. And then, I mean, this one, very recently, we've had the Martin Luther King Day. So you made that a national holiday after slaughtering him. Really? Really? When the public is like, my God, this man he died for his convictions. It's amazing. Martin Luther King in my world is very, very high up. I highly respect him. But that the same people that took him out also create these national holidays, and
It's true.
so we can
Yeah.
worship the tomb instead of what he was actually trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and before they assassinated him, before the feds assassinated Martin Luther King, they were trying to encourage him to kill himself, by the way. And to add more about the ridiculousness of my country, we have a statue of George Floyd. Only in America where you would find a statue of a crackhead. It's ridiculous.
George Floyd was a massive psychological operation. I've exposed it in many different shows. I know. The thing is, it's really tricky when you get into this whole thing, because when you look at the things like Black Lives Matters, for instance, I mean, my God, will I stand up for life in whatever form it is? I don't step on ants. I don't kid dogs. I treat everything with respect. I really try to move through life without causing harm. Black life matters, white life matters,
Right.
yellow. I mean,
Yeah.
what are the colors? But look behind them and you will find George Soros. What the hell is he doing there? This is not somebody very nice when you look at his actions. So Black Lives Matters, Antifa, the exact same powers behind it, the exact same political powers behind these organizations. I absolutely applaud Black Life Matters. The whole concept. Yes, yes, yes. But when you look at the organization itself, no, no, no. And
Yeah, there's a
I've
running
even
there's a running theme here in America. These ideas, they all sound great. Black Lives Matter, sure. All these things, they all come from a good place in someone's heart. However, it always sorts to dwindle down and roll into something negative. It always goes that way.
it's evil always have to present itself as something nice. It's otherwise we wouldn't allow it in. It's the same with a vampire or the big bad wolf, who uh, you know, dressed himself as grandmother, Little Red Riding Hood, or whatever it was. It presents itself as good. Otherwise, we will not let it in. So when these forces are showing themselves, it will always come with a beautiful packaging, a golden wrapping paper, like, this is for your protection. This is for your freedom. We're doing it for you. All of these control, whatever it is we're installing, it's for you. It's because we care so much about you. Well, check the track records of these individuals or these forces or these companies, and you just see, oh my God, yet again, we live in an inverted reality where what we are being presented is good is actually bad, and what we're being told is bad for us is actually good. So all of these things they try to ban, like vitamins. Can you believe it? Vitamins they try to ban. Vita stands for life. I mean, it sort of makes sense that, well, let's pop some of those. You got cinnamon they try to ban. You got, I mean, so many different things that are good for you, like in ivermectin. That is the incredible miracle drug, that even the World Health Organization had on their website as a miracle drug. Now they turned the whole thing around, saying no, it's for like horse manure cleansing from the
Right.
inside, kind
Yeah.
of thing. What happened? They promoted it, and by the way, WHO, what does that stand for? It stands for who. Who are they? Behind that whole thing, you will see this is not an international institution totally free. No, it's backed by big money, and most of the money comes from Bill Gates, the Gates Foundation. Every single step of the whole COVID operation, you will have the same names in the background, making absolute billions, 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 and billions. And who's paying? We are.
We are, yes. And I got to be honest with you, I had contracted COVID twice and took ivermectin and was fine within a few days.
But whatever, what does that even mean? I contracted COVID. How do you know you had COVID? Did you do it with a PCR test that doesn't work? That is the only way to know that you had COVID, according to the official sources. So what was it? Was it a really bad cold? Was it chemtrails?
Could have been,
Was it,
yeah.
what was it that they had released that you contracted? I tell you, COVID, it was not. But it was called something. And I know a lot of people have experienced very strange symptoms, like a synthetic type of feeling in the body that has been moving around in different ways. So something in different areas for sure was released. But when you look at how this operation was carried out, and by the way, lockdown, it's a prison term, has nothing to do with health. We were being locked down so that they could unleash the whole 5G network, all of these antennas and so on, because they need the very super fast bandwidth to be able to activate the whole Internet of Things, the smart grids, the smart cities, because that is the only way that the few can control the masses through technology, AI, that whole shebang. But anyway, so that was the lockdown. And now I completely forgot what I was going to say.
Well, don't worry. No worries, no worries. It'll come back around in your mind eventually here as we discuss this further. And, I still remember when the vaccine was sort of rolled out to the public and people were really pushing it. And of course, this was done through Operation Warp Speed by Donald Trump. And they were saying, oh, yeah, once you take the vaccine, you'll be fine. Nothing to worry about. You won't contract it again. It's the cure. That's what they were saying on TV. You had all these celebrities pushing that as well. But then lo and behold, that wasn't true. Far from it.
It's like, no, first you have to see how this is done. First, they try to persuade you in a logical way. When there's no logic, they go emotional. Are you not feeling solidarity for your human fellow being? Take it for your friend, for your family. You should not be so selfish. So they go emotional. If that doesn't work and there's no logic behind it, so they can't prove or back anything, they use celebrities. So they pay them a lot to stand up and say, this is fantastic. I have no idea what I'm saying, but I'm famous, so you will trust me. So they're using these people. Nowadays, you don't even know if it's actually them, because with the CGI technology and that whole, it's very, very hard to know nowadays is that even real Joe Biden CGI version or not? Is that Putin talking to me, or is it a AI variation of him? We don't know. We're sitting in the receiving end of these digital screens that are labeled smart when it's actually misspelled. It should be spelled EVIL is the correct spelling. And we're being told all of these things. So when they can't use logic, they go for celebrities. So as soon as celebrities start appearing, you have to stand back and say, whoa, hang on a second. What is going on here? And so they use them and shame on them, dear celebrities out there. If you could see me, you would get a finger here. And if you couldn't see that finger, here's another one for you. That is complete sellout. And when you start looking and to see the damages that your name have caused out there, not good, not good. And please remember the law of karma, not good. So they're pushing it. If they can't do that, they use this, they use that, they use all of it. Because the thing is, a normal person, after a while, in the beginning, oh my God, I'm under threat, problem, reaction, solution. We are being put in fear. Give me the solution. Okay, I will pump myself up with what I believe is right. Then suddenly there's no logic, because you said to me, it's like being up against a hustler. You told me that this was what's going to happen, and it didn't. And then the hustler say, well, trust me, let's do it again. So you do it a second time. And then he says, well, then you need to buy this as well. So you buy that as well. And now you need to buy this. In any other circumstance, if it was not people in white robes with long titles bought by the big pharma, that is controlled by the exact same individuals, you would not trust them. Or if they're on TV, that is also add credibility. The TV stations owned by the same forces, 96% or more in the US, owned by 6 companies or less, completely controlled. So if you don't trust that, okay, we'll go with celebrities. If you don't trust that, we will go with whatever. And then when you start finding out what's going on, what are we going to do? Distraction. And in on stage, once again, mass shootings. Like where were they during the COVID operation? There was no need for added fear. So ISIS went to bed. They went on holiday somewhere. ISIL, same name, same different bullshit. No, the other way around. Different names, same bullshit. All of these things that were fear-based, no need for them. No mass shootings, no terror attacks, no nothing for almost 2 years. Then when people started questioning and saying, hello, this doesn't really make any sense, and you were starting to get out of fear mode, then suddenly, bang, boof, this and that and this. And so in on stage came these mass shootings again. Absolute nonsense. When you look into them, I've exposed hundreds of them. I've publicly connected or predicted 68 of these up to 2 months before they happen on international radio. My last name has actually become a verb. #Dammegård or #Dammegårding is to find the hidden clues in the forensic evidence, point out where the next attack is, and stop it.
Oh, very.
So here we have the same. Oh God, it's like boring once you go into it. Like now there's a Chinese thing on the Chinese New Year's, the moon, the lunar thing, it's Chinese, and you start looking into it, it's like, again, really the quality level is like,
yes.
And it's even in the ballroom called lie. I mean, what does that mean in English? Lie. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, it's a non-stop ongoing process. We're up against like an illusionist that is trying to, if they can't push things on it, it's diversion. Then divide and conquer, then problem, reaction, solution, false flag, stir it up, push in the fear. No, it didn't work anymore. Diversion, look over here, look over there, boom, mass shooting there, keep them. And it's like, people have said, so what will be the next type of mass shooting? And I said, they're running out of options. You know, they used the Muslim terrorist. He's sort of way out of fashion now. Nobody believes him anymore. It worked for quite a few years. No good anymore. So what have we done? They started to bring it in so that people look like Anders Behring Breivik, the Norwegian alleged mass shooter, like your next door neighbor. He could be blonde, he could be blue-eyed, he could look like whatever. Then they started pushing it. They're also trying now to push in so that they want these alleged shooters to have mental illnesses.
Right.
Yeah, and under the same umbrella, they're trying to push conspiracy theories and abortion, people standing up against abortion, but they're trying to make people critically looking into these operations as mentally ill. In Sweden, my God, I'm rambling on here, Michael. But
Don't
anyway,
worry, this is great. Yes.
In Sweden, they just changed the constitution. I kid you not. The Constitution of Sweden, which is built on free speech, where there's now integrated a new espionage law, very blurry, very, very like this, and it's made in a way so that they are trying to push in that conspiracy theorists or theories will be connected in under espionage. If, for instance, an individual like myself exposes NATO operations or things that is connected to intelligence services or intelligence agencies, that will be considered a crime against this law. And so, according to legal experts that are looking into this law, if I go back to Sweden, if I go back to Sweden, since I've been devoting my life to exposing these dark forces, like 1,100 interviews, there's a lot of evidence against me if that would be illegal. So they say that I can now face between 4 and 18 years in prison for being me. At the
God
same
damn.
time, I've been awarded peace prizes for doing the exact same thing. Wake me up, Alice in Wonderland.
That is crazy.
And now they've just presented a new, it's like it's connected to the psychological defense department, whatever, the psychological war defense department. It's so blurry, weird kind of things. They made a new anti-terrorist law, and numbers are 666, really, really. And the logo of this unit, a military psychological warfare unit that are specializing on stopping a false type of information to be spread, pointing at individuals like myself. Their logo is an upside down pentagram. I shit you not.
Whoa.
I mean, that is the satanic symbol. It's out there in the open. They're not trying to hide. It's just so obvious. And we were talking about censorship. Like a year ago, I checked my name. There was 1.8 million views or hits on my name, because I've been really doing my best for 40 years. So active, boom, 1.8 million. Now, if you check my name on Google, there will be 19,000. There would be nothing more or less about any interviews, anything I've ever said. It would be about music and my books, that I've done music and that's it, boom. All of it, all the rest is deleted. You take my name, oledammegård.com, that should belong to me, I think, because it's sort of like, it used to be my domain name, and I'm the only one with that weird name. You check it out now, oledammegård.com, please do, click enter. And it's a weird law firm in El Paso.
Damn.
With
So
a logo and everything.
They hijacked you.
Completely.
Wow.
And I've been shot down right, left, and center for hate speech and bullying. I don't know. People that meet me don't find me.
You're bullying people online, Ole. They claim you're such a bully.
Well, apparently, what can I say? I am, for when it comes to these individuals that are doing bad stuff to the rest of us, I am a bully in that case, because I'm sort of like, back off, get a life, leave us alone. If you want to depopulate the world, please, there's a window over there. Jump out. I can even help you if you're scared to do it. That's one less. If that is what you want, I'll be happy to serve you. But don't come here and play God and decide for the rest of us who should be here or who shouldn't be here. That's not up to you. So, yeah, we're in strange times.
Very
and it feels
strange
very
times.
odd for me to maybe not be able to return to Sweden. It's like that country that I mean, I was born in Denmark, but I grew up in Sweden. I love the country. I love the people. But what the hell is going on?
They've lost their minds. And Ole, are your parents still alive?
No, my dad died in 92, my mother 2013.
And do you have family there?
I have a small family, very small family, yeah.
And you can go back, and you're going to face prosecution if you do, basically.
I can go back and take a chance and see how it goes, or I can go back and be met at the airport by nice people in uniform saying,
Ooh,
please,
yeah.
Mr. Dammegård, would you mind coming with us? And my answer would be, hell yes, I would very much mind that. And but it's, once you're there, airports are scary for me, you know, border controls, passport controls. I don't like them, because then I'm right in their embrace of possible power abuse. You know, I am not comfortable with that. So right here and now, I'm not going anywhere. And but hopefully in the future, when we, like I said, where we dissolve this empire of that is so inflated, because when you look at how many they are, there's so few. They're so few, and we are billions. That's why they need technology. They need the whole control of media to be able to persuade us into believing that they're actually powerful, when what they are is they're not. They're not at all. But they're powerful when it comes to this manipulation. And you know, it's like, when I go on tour, it's not that I'm pulling in like millions of people. It's like in the hundreds, many times, you know, like 300, 400.
Well, that's still pretty good. That's not bad.
No, but still, Michael, it should be a joke. If they're so powerful, who cares? I mean, come on, let him speak. Nobody really. But what are they doing? I mean, I've been shot. They've been trying to hit me with cars.
You've
I've
been
been,
shot, Oli? I didn't know that.
yes, years ago.
Oh shit.
They've been flying down from Sweden, trying to persuade me, trying to scare me. I had people fly over from Pentagon to meet up with me. I mean, what is that? I should be a joke. I should be some, like, who cares? Just let him
Just let him
go
do
on
his
with
thing.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Let him do his thing. I mean, we're so powerful, but they're not. They're really. And when I go on tour, we've been pulled into like really bizarre situations. My tour organizer, he was hit with some bizarre thing through his cell phone that almost killed him. The RV that we used for the tour smelled like 4 kilos of hash. One night when we came out and was gonna load, they had sprayed in through the aircon system. It was just filled, and then there were like roadblocks down the road, I think, with drug dogs that was there to nail us. We managed to get around that one. Uh, I mean, my name has been destroyed or they tried. The thing is, why are they putting such an effort in to shut me up? I was stopped in Sweden as a controversial speaker. I think I'm the only one ever. I didn't even know it was me when I heard it in the news. Like, controversial
That's
speaker
funny.
stopped and called school. I was like, who's that? Well,
That's
apparently
amazing.
it was me. It was me. And so that is good news, I think. If I am such a problem with who I am, and I mean, that just shows how weak they are. Otherwise, they would just make me, make a joke out of me, not even listening, whatever. Oh, leave him alone. But that's not what they're doing. They're really terrified because I bring truth, as far as I see it, at least. I really try to do my utmost. So truth is what they do not like. That's the only thing they fear.
And going back to COVID for a moment here, early on, I still do remember the Democrats saying, "Oh, I'm not going to take the Trump vaccine." They kept labeling it the Trump vaccine, and I just think it's kind of amusing how the tables have turned. Now it's the Democrats that are really pushing the vaccine on everyone, and furthermore, is Trump someone to trust? Again, for another run at being the president, Oli. I mean, he pushed for the vaccine and he continued to push for the vaccine way after during some of his parades he was doing or speeches or whatever you want to call them. Should we trust him again? Should America trust Donald Trump again, Oli?
I have no idea who he is. I have listened maybe 4.5 minutes in total to what he's saying, because on that level, these individuals will say what we want to hear, and they will do what the lords behind the scenes want them to do. So Donald Trump, I have no idea. Many people worship him. I see him as a joker in the game, where, I mean, the diversion thing has been big. When there's been really heated situations, suddenly it's like, look to the left, let's buy Greenland, or look to the south, let's build a wall and let the Mexicans pay for it. That is a major diversion when you think of it. It's because, like, what? The whole world is looking to the left. What's going on to the right? What's going on behind us? That is the thing. So who is Donald Trump? There was a black activist called Dick Gregory, who is also an incredible researcher. He said, please be aware there are two Donald Trumps, one with a blue tie, one with a red tie. The red one, I think, was the real one. The blue was not Donald Trump. And so if you control media, if that is your tool, you can present whatever. You had one Trump that was standing in the White House with two flags behind him and the White House emblem when they were doing press conferences. You had another one with another colored tie, same weird hairdo, but with one flag and without the emblem of the White House. What are we looking at? I don't know. Do I trust him? Absolutely zero. I don't trust any of these individuals. Not
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Also because they are the human psychic is like this. I need to be saved. Save me. Where is the hero? It's the white hat against the black hats. No, that's from the old Wild West movies, that Hopalong Cassidy and these type of guys, John Wayne, and they had a white hat on, and the bad boys had black hats. It's not that simple. It is not that simple. The whole thing is, who am I? Who are you? Put the mirror up there. Say, we're being manipulated here in ways that I don't understand. I just feel in my heart, this is weird. This is not okay. So where should I go to find the solutions? In the head, where I can be absolutely manipulated and confused and micro ultra sapped or whatever,
Right.
or in the heart. I tell you, they try to get to you through the mind, the ego's world up in your head. That's where they try to control you through fear that they pump in through all these different channels they have. The heart is where you should go. The voice in your heart, very quiet. Still, that is the one. You know, we were born with this GPS in our heart that says, kicking a baby, not good. Take care of that child, good. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. We know in our heart. Then our mind, that has been absolutely fucked up over the years,
Yeah.
and by other people, that was fucked up by their parents, that was fucked up by their parents, that was manipulated and turned upside down. Don't listen to us. Don't listen to that thought machine that you have between your ears. That machine is there to, just create thoughts. Just because it's in your head doesn't mean that it's true. It's up to us to take, just like if you stand by a highway and you see cars passing, you're the ones that will say, oh, that blue Ford, and you put emphasis and you amplify and give that thought strength. Let the other ones pass. It's the choice is yours. The thoughts are just there. You see that in meditation and many different philosophies or different ways of liberating yourself. The thoughts are just being generated. You're the ones who can give power to whatever. Just because it's a thought in your head doesn't make it true. And many people have become slaves under their own mind and are just listening to this voice that are totally corrupt and has been hijacked. So back to the heart. They say it's the longest journey from the head into the heart. That is the one we should do. Do not let yourself get fooled. Don't wait for the savior out there. The one you've been waiting for is you. The one I have been waiting for is me. Nobody will save us. You have to do it. You have to stand up in what is true to you, the way you see it. Build on your, not thoughts, but your heart. What is true, what is not. And then use that one as life is super simple. There was these bearded guys a few thousand years ago that thought, oh my God, is the manual this simple? We'll just take a chisel and a hammer and just put them down on a piece of stone here so we won't forget them. There's about 10 of them. Don't kill, don't steal, don't lie, don't take somebody else's spouse, treat other people the way you would like to be treated. And by the way, treat the people with respect, especially the elders and your parents. That's about it. Thank you so much. And now go out in the world and do no harm and be of service. That was sort of it. And then we started getting messed up with somebody eating the apple. The apple was the one that messed us up, and the greed entered, and all of these things started, the desires, all of that started stirring. And that's where these individuals, most of them born psychopaths, so you can't blame them. They don't have empathy. They don't have that in their system. Don't blame them. They're there to teach us. The worst assholes in your life are the best teachers. So we started going off there. The psychos were there to help us. They were really good in wars situations where no fear or no second thoughts, just go straight out into the line of fire and do things that normal people wouldn't do. Good psychos are really helpful. But what happened when the world sort of calmed down and became officially a safe place, these individuals, without fear, without emotions, without compassion, started moving into following their greed into powerful situations. And we did not see it because we were too much up our own butt in our own desires and greed, looking at I, me, and mine. that was it. And we started forgetting about each other and then being manipulated with marketing campaigns and all of these things. Don't worry about the others. Just take all the chocolate for yourself. You know, you should do it. You know, you're worth it. All of these things. And we lost track. And in the meantime, the super psychos moved into power positions. And so here we are, where they have actually moved in, where they're everywhere. In every single area of life, they have entered into that space and taken it over. Are they that powerful? Absolutely not. Are they very few? Absolutely yes. Are we very, very many? Incredibly many. So can we change this situation? Super simple, super simple. You just have to get out of fear. Get out of fear. Stop whining, start shining. Get out of victim mode, stop whining, start shining, and stand in your truth. And you will see, when you start acting out of love and compassion, and you start caring about your friends, your family, your neighbors, then things start changing. Your community, they want centralized everything. That's the key. Centralized power to fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer. Everything in your life should be decentralized. Decentralized. Bring the power back to the people. Bring the power back to the peaceful. Bring the power back to small communities, to people that care about nature, about family, about future. Especially the women are really showing us the way. Bring it back, and then stand in balance. Whatever they throw at you, say, thank you so much. I'm not going to get scared. Boom. What about that one? Thank you so much. You really tested me there. I was almost scared for a while and started thinking, oh, I should do this and that. That is not according to my heart. But I chose not to, even though it might be dangerous. We might die. Well, that is part of the game. They say this meat suit won't last forever. So why not live in a way that you feel like, oh my God, I did it. I gave it my best. I had an incredible ride. I had soup. I had romance. I had drama. I had traumas. I had conflicts. I had this and that. Oh my God, amazing. And here I stand for what I really truly believe. And now I'm going to die for it. Yoo-hoo! Flag in the top. Boom. Meat suit down, and hopefully reincarnation is real, and we're back. Or if we're not, at least we die in a way that we feel, I am proud of myself. I did my best. I failed in certain areas. I succeeded in other, but I really did my best. You can choose that, or you can be an absolute wuss and die at the age of 104 years old as a veggie in some caretaking home with diapers and whatever.
Oof, yes.
And you can say, I became 104 being an absolute coward. I'm not saying that about all old people, of course not.
Right.
But I'm saying that is, would you like to lie in your bed on your deathbed and just feel, what did I do with my life? What on earth did I do with my life? That's not a nice situation to be in. So I say, let's do it now instead. Stop whining, start shining.
My goodness. Well, Ole, I do want to thank you for being on the program. I don't want to waste too much of your time anymore. I know it's probably a little late over there. But Ole, it's always an honor and pleasure to have you here on this program. I had a great time with you here, and, we're going to have to do this again. Ole, if you ever have time.
Of course. Of course,
That's a
Michael,
great
I'll
chat.
be happy to do it. I'll be happy to do it. And if I offended anyone out there, not my intention. If I got somebody to feel that they got a kick up their butt and get out of the sofa and start doing and staying in their truth, I'm very happy. So the thing is, what I don't really understand what's going on, but at the same time, we are in a situation. We've been dealt some cards. Are they good? Are they bad? They are what they are. Is it fun? Sometimes. Is it horrible? Sometimes. We can't really deal with it. What we can change is our way of interpreting it. Why did this happen? Instead of becoming a victim, see what can I use this for? In what way can I heal? In what way can I empower myself by seeing that my weaknesses are being very clearly pointed out by whatever is going on? Indirectly, these super assholes are helping us to heal and become, on a spiritual level, much more powerful. And I even written a book called Re-Mind Me, Re-Mind Me, about that whole thing. It's like a manual of life. And yeah, can I say that
Of course, yeah.
I'm not. I've never been paid by anyone. I'm not part of an organization. I'm not whatever. So, if anyone finds what I'm delivering here of value, finances is the situation that is hard because I'm being shut down right, left, and center. Even Patreon shut me down, and not because of what I had on my Patreon channel, but because of things that was on my website. I kid you not. They said, if you don't take that away, we will shut you down. And that was a major part of our income. And the
Wow.
thing they wanted to take away was my film testimonial for the Corona Investigative Committee. What the hell? That's an international coalition of high-level lawyers that I was giving testimony to. And then there were 2 interviews with the head of that committee, Rainer Fulmisch, that I was part of, and boom, if we didn't take that away, they would shut us down. So we gave them the finger and we got shut down.
Good
So
Lord.
since then, it's been a bit of a rocky road financially. So I would be extremely appreciative of if anyone would like to sign up. There's membership on my website, lightonconspiracies.com. That's in plural, lightonconspiracies.com or dammegård.com. Both go to the same place. We are also giving away a VIP membership, not for rookies, but where you get access to, there's about, I think, 9,000 articles. There's more than 1,100 of my interviews. There's webinars, podcasts, sofa talks, there's daylights, there's you name it. You can stay on that website for 5 years, no problem. And every single thing that is on there, as far as I've been able to find out, is based on truth. Nothing goes on that if I'm not double checking it. And also most of the articles are written by people that I know of or know personally, and so on. So also I got my monthly newsletter where you can also, if you go into the archives, you can say, this is when I predicted it, boom, that's when it happened. This is when I predicted it, boom, that's when it happened. I'm also in this newsletter, I'm pointing out things that I'm finding that are, showing, exposing it as false flag operations, or also if I find things that are pointing in a specific direction from an upcoming attack. And then the next month, boom, then it happened. There you go, the Dammegård factor.
Very nice. That's lightonconspiracies.com. Go check out the website, sign up. If any of this resonated with you, definitely go look up Ole. That's Ole Dammegård. lightonconspiracies.com. Once again, thank you so much, Ole, for being on the program. We'll do it again on the other side, my friend.
Fantastic. And next time, let's celebrate that we managed to transcend this whole madness.
Oh, yes.
And kick back and have a cold beer and
I'm with
partay.
you. Very nice. We'll do that next time. We'll have a bit of a open discussion here, Ole. We'll talk to someone else, me and you. We'll do one of these kind of shows, and we'll get deeper into all these subjects again.
Sounds great.
You got it, brother. Thank you so much, Ole. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Good night, my friend.
Good night.
And there he goes, boys and girls. That was Ole Dammegård. And wow, that was pretty amazing. I had a great time. I hope all of you guys out there enjoyed Ole as much as I did. That was quite good. I enjoyed that one quite thoroughly, and I hope everyone out there at home will definitely enjoy that one. Those of you on, I would say, the podcast version of this program, I wish you guys could actually hang out with us live one of these days. That'd be pretty awesome. The live show is always fun, but of course I understand if you are at work or can't really be here at the time. You have kids, you have all kinds of stuff going on in your life. You can't really hang out with us here in the chat room, but we still wish you can, though. Eventually you can join us here live. Sometimes we do this on the weekend, sometimes mostly on the weekdays nowadays is when we get down. And yes, thank you, Jesus. Always, yes, thank you, Jesus Christ. And of course, I was going to play some Paula White now that I saw it. Thank you, Jesus, but I'll hold off on this one here tonight, boys and girls. I will do my best to hold off. And I saw some weird message here pop up during the live show, somebody was saying that I had a fake voice. You could call me and I wouldn't have a problem talking to you on the phone and dehumanizing you and telling you to go kill yourself. Not a problem. And you can hear how fake the voice is. There's no fake voice here. Not at all. So I don't know where you get that, but all is well on this side of heaven. And yes, my God, Paula White, I don't want to play that again. I'm tempted to. I am tempted to. But I'll hold off. If Mike was here, I would definitely play it because it would drive him insane. And for those out there wondering, where is the co-host Mike Hideous? Well, again, he's on assignment. He'll be back. He'll be back. I believe we'll be doing another show quite soon. I believe Friday is when we'll do another live show here for all of you out there. Yeah. Mike Hideous will return, and I believe I saw another thing out there saying that I had HIV, which is not true. I have monkeypox, not HIV. Just monkeypox, it's all good. It's one of those sort of things that you get rid of. It's all good. Don't worry. Once again, boys and girls, thank you so much for pressing play. We'll do it again on the other side. And with that said, the world is a mysterious place, and life itself is a mystery. Until next time, good night for now.